instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if it can haunt, how we're dwelling in the dark, we want to talk about it. So tonight, we are going all the way to Paris, France, where we will be discussing the catacombs that lay beneath the ground. So much shit involved in these catacombs, man. And yeah, we're gonna dig as deep as we can, get down to these catacombs. But before,
so deep.
Yeah. One might say knuckles deep. But before we get into tonight's topic, we're gonna send it over to Jay for tonight's jump scare.
Okay, thanks, Ken. So tonight's submission comes from Trisha. And Trisha says, so as my mom was dying, she promised me that she would come to me. A few days later, I was explaining to my then 11-year-old son that things may happen. As I'm telling him, both of my shades on my windows went up by themselves. Then a few months went by, and a doll that my mom bought my daughter started making sounds, but it had no batteries in it. Awful.
Yeah.
When we moved to our new house, my girls had Disney princess dolls that would play music by themselves, yet you had to push the button to turn them on. We actually had to put them away in a closet because they would wake the girls up. Oof. These goddamn toys. We had a grandmother willow bank. That's from Pocahontas because I know that.
Yeah.
It would talk when you put money in. I have 3 little girls.
Yeah.
It would talk when you put money in it. Yes, it would talk without anyone being in the room. I've bought 6 houses and my lights flicker in every single one on holidays. Last Christmas, the light in my refrigerator went off for the duration of the time my kids were over. When they left, it went back on. My son's confirmation, I had a party at my house. My brand new television had a picture tube. I'm aging myself here. But the tube blew as everyone had arrived. Jesus.
Yeah.
My son and daughter-in-law lived in University City at the time of this. That's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
My son is a musician who loves jazz music. His next-door neighbor told him that Dizzy Gillespie used to stay in my son's house years ago. Mm. His nephew lived there, and they would jam all hours of the day and night. Well, as my son was playing one day, everything on his shelves came crashing down, and not one thing broke. We were talking ceramic statues and all. This happened for no reason at all. Oh, and the lights flickered in that house and their new house in New Jersey. I'll think of some more for you. It's funny that my kids have been raised with all these things and they don't even get freaked out, but other people get so scared, like my son-in-law.
Yeah.
So thank you, Trish.
Yeah. I mean, the ghosts, the playing with the toys again. We got another one of those.
I mean, I enjoy those. I mean, because I like that she threw in that there was no batteries in there because that's like horror movie stuff. You're like, it's like the batteries are obviously dying. You go over there, you open the thing on the back, and there's no batteries. You just look at your wife, what the fuck?
And you turn it around, and the thing says something. You drop it, and the piano key,
Then the thing's head turns around to look at you. And it's like, what now, bitch? It's like, what the fuck?
There needs to be a movie where a haunted toy says that, man. What the hell?
Straight up like Woody from Toy Story when he was like, we see everything.
Nice. All right. So once again, thank you, Trish. And all right. So moving on to the Catacombs of Paris.
Oh my goodness, the Catacombs of Paris. One of before we even get into this is maybe my tippy top bucket list place to go before I die. Yeah. It's horrendous. It's horrific. It's awful. It's dirty. But I gotta go. Like, and I landed on this topic because I was, I texted Ken, a few days ago, and I was like, oh, let's do the Catacombs of Paris because, I guess you guys would know this. I had COVID, and when I was going through it, I had fevers for 10 days. It was awful. And one of the fever dreams I had, I was stuck in like this sub level of the catacombs. And I woke up, I was like, I was like, we got to do an episode on that.
A COVID premonition.
Yeah. So, and, I've been fascinated by this place forever. And, it's just, yeah, man. They call it the Empire of Death. So it's like, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. We this is one of those things that comes up almost every time that we hang out. We like to just bullshit on it and then throw scenarios back and forth and just talk about what could possibly be going on down there that we don't know about.
Oh my God. And just in the we'll talk about it later, but just in some of the things that I came across, like they don't even know what's down there. And there's people that's like, it's crazy. Like it's beyond crazy because it's these undocumented quarries is what they started out as. But let's we'll get into that with the history a little bit.
Yeah, let's hop on our first talking point here.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with the place, you know that it's this underground. It's known today collectively as the Catacombs of Paris, but it actually started out as a stone quarry because it's mostly limestone under there, and it's great for using for building and the finishing of buildings. And it's been used since they think. I mean, for a while they were saying that it started in the 14th century, but now there's even newer research that suggests that this place has been being quarried since Roman times. So just think about that.
Well, and isn't a lot of that limestone, wasn't that used for places like different monuments around the world?
Monuments around the world. It's been sent to multiple places. It was even there were even some monuments at Versailles that used some of the limestone. That's true. I'm not being an asshole.
Yeah. Well, another reason you chose the Paris Catacombs was because of my miserable performance with France history.
It was just to say that. That's the only reason I picked this. It was just to say that to you. So so it was a quarry before anything else, and then like a lot of ancient European cities, it ran into an issue in the middle 1700s when Paris's cemeteries became completely just full, and to the point where like areas that used to be flat are now mounds because there are so many buried bodies in there that it's just the earth just can't hold it anymore. So I mean, could you that's beyond like belief. You try to get your head around that. It's like, oh, there were just too many bodies and now it's just body on body and there's no soil. It's just
that was from the plague and all diseases, and just people were dropping like flies, and they were just like, we're out of fucking room.
Yeah, I mean, now you can't bury within the city walls, but it kind of all launched off on May 31st of 1780 when a basement wall that was in a property that was adjoining this large cemetery, the Innocent Cemetery, collapsed under the weight of a mass grave that was behind it. And we mean like bodies and bodies and bodies. And so because of this, they, they're like, well, I guess we can't bury any more bodies in here. Yeah. So they came up with the, which is actually kind of interesting. At this point, the quarries, which would be the catacombs, had kind of been largely forgotten at this point. They were there, but they didn't really do much with them at this point. But they had the idea to, well, let's take these bones and we'll just fill these miles and miles of tunnels. And they actually had to somewhat mark out these tunnels because like they didn't know how far they went. Like the quarry guys would just go down and down, and like it's pretty incredible. So they took all these bones, they disinterred all these bones. And the kind of messed up thing is that a body would count as a skull and their leg bones. and they would just leave the rest, or they would just
Skull and
dispose of it
femurs.
somewhere else. Yeah. So this, they call them the catacombs, but it's actually a little more accurate to call it an ossuary, which is just somewhere where you basically just keep bones. And if you're familiar with the catacombs here, I'm sure you've seen pics of these sculptures and wall sculptures that have been made with the numerous skulls and leg bones, and that's basically what they did in these main areas. But then there are like deeper areas where it's like you would get a tunnel, right, and then they would dig down like hundreds of feet, and they would just throw the bones in there. So you just have like these like it's
bone
like
pits.
It's like but that are like 4 stories deep.
Ugh.
Just bones. So it's pretty incredible. And at a point where they were trying to get rid of so many bones that they were kind of just not doing it right anymore. They were just like, oh yeah, here's the nice part. That's like if you go on a tour in Paris, for example, and you see the part that everybody sees, it's like, oh, here's these, here's the great skull sculptures. Look at this wall, all bones and skulls. That is like literally like someone said it's like less than 1% of the actual entirety of the catacombs. That's
Oh my God. Cause there's so much of that, like the pictures and the visuals I've seen, in different shows and different, just videos. It's like how much more is there? How deep does it go? How far can you go into them?
Well, that's the crazy thing. Like, well, okay. So, there's people that are like dedicated to the catacombs. They're called Cataphiles. They live in France, obviously, and they're Parisians, and they kind of make it their thing to like try to map how far it goes, but they're not telling everybody, and they're constantly at war with the police, which is kind of funny. The things that they have built in here is insane. I mean, did you see the pictures of like the movie theater that they had at one point?
Yeah, I did see that.
Full like. Because here's the thing, because the catacombs are not, they're not built on like any like structure, like where it's like, oh, it's on a grid pattern, or it's like, nothing like that. So apparently there's rumors that these tunnels actually connect to people's houses at some point. So you could have people who have like a secret door that goes right into this tunnel, and like you could, oh, you just got to travel like 200 yards this way and make a left, and you're in the catacombs. So it's like there's no way to stop them.
Well, yeah, with that movie theater, they had professionally wired electricity.
Yeah,
and like, who's that dude? Who's the pro down there?
That, and then, I think it's a lot of them, because it's like the whole literally underground culture, and then like there's this whole other thing that's sprung up of this like world famous mushroom growing. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, the one guy was in there, and he just realized he saw different species of mushrooms, and he discovered that it was like, whoa, wait, this is ideal conditions for making mushrooms. And him and multiple other people were just like, mushroom farm time, this is the best place to do it.
Yeah, and they're saying that it's basically because not only is it dark and it's dank and all that, but it's because of all this like bone matter that's in the soil in there, that's literally what's making it perfect. There's so much fertilizer in there and so much calcium from the bones that it's making these like amazing mushrooms.
Yeah, and they use the blanket statement of minerals. They call
minerals. Human minerals.
Yeah, right. Jeez, man. And think about that. Like, all those mushrooms are so good, but it's like, you're eating human remains.
I mean, come on now. I mean, the way that things are industrialized now, I mean, we're probably eating human remains often.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty incredible. And then, so I as far as I could look, and, this is just like, cursory internet research. And, I checked a bunch of things out, but they just don't know how far these things reach. They estimate somewhere between, which is crazy. They estimate somewhere between 200 and 300 miles of tunnels. So they're just maybe a wiggle room of 100 miles of tunnel. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. And it's not even just like it's like a cave system underground. Like, it's like years of evolution, right? Like that. They used to have like a tropical climate there, and like a that kind of sea or ocean. I forget which one it was, but yeah, it's just years of like, you know, I guess I don't want to call them aquifers, but it just, you know, years of just that moving, and it's just these tunnels that are just created by nature. Besides, you know, the
yeah,
quarry,
no, and it's and the problem is with some of these tunnels is that it's limestone. That's fossilized sand basically. So it's great for what they're trying to use it for, but then there's like it's notorious for caving in. So people will go in there looking for shit, and it's like there's cave-ins all the time.
Yeah, and the original people that went in there got all the limestone out that like saved, you know, France, because they needed you know, something to save them. And then that the bodies thing, that didn't that cause the French Revolution, the like banning of burying the bodies and
I mean, it could have been a factor, but I don't know if it causes the actual French Revolution. I think it was some, you know, some entitled person that said something about letting them eat cake.
Let them eat cake. Tea and cake or death. But Jesus, man.
Kill them all.
Yeah, shit. But yeah, so I want to go back to the Cataphiles for a second. Like me, I'm very claustrophobic, right? And just the idea of being underground, it terrifies me. And like the idea that there's so many of these people that are like, it's a pretty vast group of people that are you know, really into this and go in there all the time and are like comfortable with having like full on projectors and movie theaters and like even like dance clubs and shit, like with speakers.
Yeah, no, there's raves that happen there. They say every weekend there's raves that happen in there. And not even just that, it's fucking dangerous. Like if you go in there to act like an asshole, because let me tell you, in researching this episode, watching these idiot YouTubers go in there like, okay, man, we're in here, we're in the catacombs, and like you flash a camera at these people, they're gonna kill you, like straight up. They're like, they were saying some of the things that they like to employ is like they some of these guys have like noxious gas, and what they'll do is if you're fucking around in there, they'll throw it and like knock you out, and then they'll rob you and just leave you there. Like take your flashlights, everything, and you wake up in the pitch black darkness.
And then you're dead. Yeah.
You're dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
Just put that in right here.
You're dead.
Okay.
Oh man.
I mean, they were, and you know what? They deserve it because they didn't come through. They weren't polite. They didn't say, you know, like Peter James might say if he came.
I'm coming through.
See, and that's the polite way to say it.
Yeah. Let them know.
Like, oh, yeah,
warn
no
them.
Right.
Yeah, like so, but that must be a very, like you were saying, you flash camera, they're knocking you out, they're fucking you up, they're taking your shit. How many people you think were killed down there for that shit? Like literally, like
lots, man. I mean, killed. I mean, it's got to be a sizable number. I mean, over centuries. I mean, because if you think about before, I mean, now you know, YouTubers go down there, take some pics, take some video. But before that, I mean, think about, you know, before this was, I mean, before, you know, somewhat modern civilization. I mean, this is, you know, Paris is a Roman city, so like if there were quarries down there all the way back then, all the way through the Middle Ages, all the way through the medieval era, then through, you know, up until present time, like I can't even imagine what kind of shit was going on down there.
And they're just like, you're just more bones now, you know?
You're just more bones. And, you know, they even said that like if you get lost down there or trapped, like the police will only go so far because they only know so much that's there. And then there's like levels that are flooded, and it's only, and like sometimes it's flooded depending on the tide of the river. Like it's crazy. It's crazy how much has like literally transpired down there. Like just it's literally an underground culture that does not want to be they don't want to be penetrated, like they do not, by outsiders. I mean, they just you know. But I wanted to mention, speaking of the Cataphiles, they consider this a certain gentleman. He's kind of like almost like the patron saint of Cataphiles. He's the first Cataphile, basically. He's a gentleman named Philibert Asper, who died, was one of the first, they think, but he died, got lost in the catacombs in 1793. They don't know what happened to him. He just wandered, and they found his body 11 years later.
Yeah, and there's a little legend around that too.
Yeah, I mean, apparently his ghost has been seen multiple times, but they buried him where he was found. So you have to kind of like travel quite a bit.
and there's a headstone, and it's this nice little thing that they put up, and it says to the memory of Philibert Asper, lost in this quarry on 3rd of November 1793, found 11 years later and buried in the same place on April 30th 1804.
Like he's real cool, like like that's a cool story. But in the same breath, it's like you fucking idiot.
I mean, there's a bunch of things that I saw about this guy. I mean, because there's the legendary nonsense where it's like, oh, he was killed by werewolves that live down there, and it's like, okay,
that's plausible.
Well, how they get moonlight down there? I don't want to hear werewolves. Give me something better. True. Ghouls, I'll take that.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah,
but probably more importantly, or even probably more plausible, he probably got drunk because they found because there's another tradition around, like when they people have like parties on his death date down there, and they drink this one specific brand that was. Apparently the bottle was found next to him. So they don't know it for sure, but like think about that. Like you're going down there, you get fucking wasted. They're in France. Come on.
Yeah.
They get down there and he just, stumbles. He could have been just, blind drunk and then just passed out or even hit his head. And that was it.
Yeah, it was done. Like, like I would need some sort of like speed or something to like be able to be hyper focused on like everything around me. Like, consider.
I mean, I want to go down there. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm also saying this from my the comfort of my own home. Like, you get me there, and it's like, oh, you got to squeeze through this, this hole. That's like, well, I ain't getting through that hole. So what do you want me to do?
You're like, I'll be across the street at the restaurant.
Yeah, seriously.
Get pictures.
Yeah, get pictures. Like, I'll go as far as I can, but like when they're like, oh, well, here's the part where you have to, straddle this, this river here, but if what you don't know about this little like flowing body of water is that it's actually a 50-foot drop if you fall in.
Yeah, and you're done.
Yeah, you're dead.
The French police come and like, leave him there.
Yeah. Is it they're like, is it a French citizen? No, it's an American. Fuck these Americans.
Yeah. Another one dead in the more bones. More bones.
Yeah, more bones. Yeah, just throw him down the pit.
Yeah, the 4-story pit of heads and femurs.
Right.
Pile them up. Jesus.
So, like most of the wonderful things we like to discuss on this show, the first time I was introduced, which is actually kind of cool, first time I was introduced to the Catacombs of Paris was at Ken's house.
Boom.
And we were watching, what show was it?
The Scariest Places on Earth.
Such a great show. And they have it was the segment with this now famous segment about the cataphile or just explorer who got lost. They found his footage, right?
Mm-hmm.
They found his camcorder and he's like walking, he's filming. And then, after a bit, he starts to get, upset. Like maybe he's lost or as others have suggested, he's being chased.
Yeah. But he wouldn't turn the camera around to look at anything. But
yeah. So, and then he drops, and then out of nowhere, he drops the camera and then just runs off, right? And then the rest of the film apparently is that it just runs out of film and then it's just over.
Yeah.
So now this was in 2000 that this premiered, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in researching this, there's quite a few people that think that this is like either the show came up with it or that the guy, his name Francis Friedland was the guy's name, that he just cooked up the whole thing. Now think about that, 2000 like found footage, like dude, this is right after, like this is in the sweet spot right after Blair Witch, right?
Well, was that when it was found? I mean, because I remember reading that it was found in like 1990, or the footage was from 1990.
That's what they said.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, maybe they just changed the date on the camera.
Well, here's the thing: no one has ever been able to examine that film. It was used for the TV show, and what is it? Fast forward, I think it was 2014. There is a kind of an offshoot episode of Ghost Adventures that comes out. It's called Netherworld with Zach Bagans. Did you watch this?
I watched something. Like, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He had a bunch of shows, man. He had a bunch of spin-off shows.
Well, it's just one episode. It's just one episode. It didn't turn into anything else. And it's just about the catacombs. And he goes over there. Actually, my favorite part is, and hopefully you can cut this in because this is on YouTube, is when he pretends like he can speak French.
Okay. All right.
If we find it, we'll put it right here.
Yeah.
So many deaths, and many of them violent. Could this be what's causing manifestations of angry spirits in the catacombs? Or something even worse?
Bonjour. Comment allez-vous?
Bonjour.
Je peux?
Bien sûr, je vous en prie.
Merci.
Okay. It's bad. So fast forward to 14 years later, and Mr. Bagans goes over to Paris and interviews the gentleman Francis Friedland once again, who was the guy who presented this stuff to
Fox Family
Channel. Oh man.
Yeah.
Linda
Blair was all over it. She's like, "This is in. You made it."
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, yeah. But no, this is after. This is after, man. This is now we're talking about the Bagans era.
Okay, fair enough.
This is in 2014. So he interviews this gentleman once again, and he's like, could you take me to the spot? He's like, no, I'll never go down there again. No, never. And they kind of sidestep the whole thing about like, well, wouldn't you ask him for a copy of the tapes? Like, can we look at it? Because in the show, if you watch it, the guy's like, oh, it's like 40 something minutes long. It's like, all right, well, we see literally 30 seconds of it.
Yeah. And they keep replaying that same loop. There? Yeah. With like the,
yeah. So it's an interesting tape. And I think it's one of the things that I would actually credit that tape with making like this whole craziness for the catacombs, like to come about. Like, I think that show really, like, obviously there were Cataphiles before that. Obviously people were interested in it, but like that really popped off the whole like American interest in it, because now everyone goes down there and they're like, oh, where's the, because you see in the video, you see like this man shaped thing painted on the wall. It's like white paint, and is like his hands are up. It's almost like the Wicker Man almost.
Yeah, or like Blair Witch, the Twig Man or Stick Man.
Yeah, it's very it's very derivative. But it's still fun. Yeah, well,
you want to believe it. You want to believe that there's that.
I want to.
Yeah.
But I give the guy credit, because on the original show, on the Scariest Places on Earth, they actually go down into the catacombs, and like they get lost, and like the guy's freaking out, and he's looking at the bones, and he's like, look at this. He's like, we don't know how far this goes down. Yeah. And and then my favorite is when he's like, this is the gate to hell. It's but it's undeniable though. I mean, like, whether it's a put on for a TV show and whatever, it's TV. Yeah. You're still in this place. They're still there. And you were looking at this, and it's like, dude, that's between 6 and 7 million bodies are down there. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's haunted as fuck. It's gotta be.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess we can get to that now.
Well, but one of my favorite parts of that segment from there is when they are lost, and the guy that took them down there, the bald dude. Yeah. And they find that like stair, like the ladder, metal ladder, like going up. Yeah. And they're like, this should be our way out. And they're like, wait, no, like we can't get out. Like they're all like, like their plotted way out is shut. And that's where the panic would have set in for me. I'd have been like, me and that guy would have been scrapping right there. Like, dude, like you said, you could get us out. You fuck.
I'd be like, look, I'm going to give you one chance to get us out of here. But if we're like lost for days, I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah. And I'm going to eat you. Like, you're going to be my source of food.
Seriously. All those French guides too, like in all the videos that I watch, they all bring wine with them. They're like, oh, you want to have a break and have some wine? And the Americans are like, no, you asshole. We want to get the fuck out of here. Like, have the wine after. Yeah. Gotta remember shit.
Yeah. We got to have our wits about us here, man. Like,
you fuck.
And that whole, like, the only way out is deeper in shit that, like, they present. You're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. They're like, well, we have to get around this one level that's collapsed. So we have to go down, 70 more feet below Earth to come up and go around. And it's like, dude, no.
Yeah. I'd be like, why can't we just go back? Like, oh, man.
Maybe I'll go in there when the technology from like Prometheus comes out. Remember when he has like that mapping computer, like little drone that goes in and just maps the whole thing? Yeah, that's when they do that. Then I'll go in there.
I was thinking of like Total Recall, where like Benny's in the drill machine. That's the technology I'd want for that shit.
Well, if we're going that, I'm just going to wear like just a robotic head, just for no reason. It'll just come off.
Yeah, 2 weeks. All right. And then I want to grow
ready for a surprise.
I want to grow guano in my belly, and I'll just whip them out. Open up your mind.
I mean, we don't have to wait for fucking the catacombs for that. We just do that now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Halloween should be fun this year.
It better be.
Oh shit.
So yeah. Also, one more thing I wanted to mention that I thought was really amazing about this place, aside from the culture of these cataphiles that go down there, is the art that's left down there and the things that people have built and carved into the stone. My favorite out of them all. Did you see the statue that someone's carved of the Minotaur in there?
I think I have briefly. I mean, the thing I've seen the most is just the
castle.
Yeah, and also just the almost like decor that has been designed out of the bones. You know what I mean?
Sure,
thoroughly, planned out, well measured. Just the atmosphere in there.
That's the early stuff, and that's in that touristy section. But the beyond stuff, where only the cataphiles go, there's lots of graffiti. There's lots of people have carved seats. People have carved this. There's a castle down there that someone made out of it's just made out of concrete or something. I don't know how they put it all together, but anyone that goes, it's almost like a rite of passage. When you get to the castle room, you have to bring an action figure with you and place it on the castle. So depending on when you see a video from there, there was a Spider-Man that was on there apparently for 20 years, and it finally disappeared a year ago or something. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
But the statue of the Minotaur is insane, because what they did was it's a load-bearing structure, right? So it's a big pillar, but they carved it into the shape of this Minotaur that's holding the top.
That's awesome.
And that just adds to the creepiness, because it's oh shit, the Minotaur in the maze. It's oof, I don't want to think about one of those things down here.
Once again,
when you're in there, and you're watching some of these videos, your mind goes crazy, because it's what anything could be around the next turn.
Yeah.
And whether it's people trying to rob you or some of the other things that have been encountered, which we'll go into now, it's awesome.
Right before we go into this portion too, the one of the cooler stories too with the cataphiles is them leaving those cameras to spy on the police that's genius. It's genius.
Yeah. Well, they spend most of their time down there, and they leave little notes for the police to telling them you're never going to stop us, literally telling the police you're never going to stop us. And it's crazy because the police are only allowed to go only so far. They have mapped areas, but they even said that there's the one video I was watching, they said that they think that they've mapped maybe 35% of it. That's insane to me, because I know a lot of it's flooded and there's probably sub levels that'll maybe they'll never get to again. But apparently there's secret rooms. Apparently there's ones that there's all these other ways to get in. It's mind boggling.
There's a car from a vehicle accident in there that some guy had a bad memory. There's a Knights Templar.
Yeah, is that next to the rotary telephone?
Yeah. and basically, it's the movie Event Horizon in the catacombs. But anyway, sorry.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's where we're gonna button it up. So, right. So, some of the things that folks have or think is down there, and other things that folks have witnessed in these tunnels kind of runs the gamut. I don't know what you came across, but what did you come across?
Well, we got the ghost of our boy Phil. There's that, and there's of course secret hideouts laid out all in there, different altars and makeshift churches for different rituals and anything from satanic to magic to witchcraft. Just a bunch, a slew. There's different creatures that are down there. There's a a flabby Eggman running around.
Son of a bitch! There's one down there too.
No, I made that up. But there's just all kinds of manner of things. Like you said, it does run the gamut because most of it's hearsay. And then you have the things that are okay, you can go down there and hear a woman screaming, at this time, at this night, to, I'm seeing this man of this ghost who was the original Cataphile. So the ones I liked, that I put here in my notes are just the video camera that we were talking about, voices at midnight, the ghost of our boy Phil, and the secret rooms in the secret churches for rituals and different kinds of cults. You know, that's the stuff that really grabbed me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it interesting that there seems to be a few that kind of repeat, and I don't know if it's just because it's, you know, folks repeating what they've heard or just whatever. But number one, there's the ghost sightings, like you said. There's the woman that you can hear shrieking. Then there's the ghost of Philibert Asper, and then there's just multiple. They say you'll just see figures sometimes, right? Like you'll be walking and turning a corner, and you'll, like, someone has said they've seen someone in like workman outfit, and they'll go and like they'll shine their light, and then like he'll turn the corner just as you're going. I was like, what the fuck was that? And they said that I didn't find a name for it, but apparently they think it's this one ghost that likes to get people lost in there. Like, so like you're following this guy, right? It's like, oh, where'd he go? No, he went this way. And then he gets you more and more lost the more you follow him. That's
just like, that's the creepiest. Like,
right. And then that they say is the ghost of this guy. Other folks have even said, no, that's not a guy. That's actually a demon, because you're so close to hell that he's actually leading you closer to the gates of hell. I was like, yeah, sure. Fuck. Fucking hot down here, huh, guys? Why is it so hot down here? Why is it like sulfur down here?
Yeah. Who's that red guy with the pitchfork over there? Why's
that guy have goat legs? What the fuck? And then also the one that kind of freaked me out, because this one is like everywhere. People have, and this is going back in time and also to current, that people have had sightings of these smaller than human, impish white creatures with reflective eyes. And it's another thing where like people have seen him in the tunnels, and it's almost like the ghost that I was just describing, but they're farther than you can kind of see. You kind of see their shape, and then when you shine your light at them, you get eye shine from the flashlight. Their eyes shine back, and then they just look at you and they take off.
Plausible. For me, it's plausible down there, man.
Ghouls. I don't know.
Yeah.
So so this place is nightmare fuel. If we went, I would have to you would want to be like a little bit like buzzed or something, but then at the same time you wouldn't want to be, because you're like, what if I fucking get lost now? I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, I would have to stick to the most open portion, because a recurring nightmare for me is like I have to get out through that hole, and it's not going to happen. I'm stuck right here.
Yeah, forever. That's it. This is where I live. You're gonna have to just put food through this thing, and I live here now.
Send down a gun. I'll end it.
There you go. Right.
Oh God! Oh, just being under fucking trapped with ghouls and goblins and little.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're talking about here. This is some serious business.
Yeah, it's really like panic inducing.
And people trying to fucking like rob you and possibly kill you.
Yeah.
So
is that the least of your worries?
Probably. I mean, it's like, well, do you want to get robbed, or you want to get like, mentally fucked with a demon for like the next 6 years, and then he lets you go?
Yeah, or then he just brings you to hell, and like he's like, it's over, but you got to go in there now.
Yeah, you think you're actually getting out. It's like, oh my God, I finally made it. And then like you turn around and everyone's face is the face of the demon. It's like, fuck.
The devil comes out. He's like, gotcha, fucker.
Right. But it's like, it's Dave Grohl devil from fucking Pick a Destiny.
Well, that'd be super fun.
Now you are fucked shit out of luck.
Fuck. Yeah. Oh man.
I mean, that actually kind of sounds cool, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that, I'm thinking of like, it's just like, Richard Simmons. He's like,
Jesus.
We're gonna sweat to the oldies forever, Ken. And I'm just like, nah.
Exactly.
Darth Vader.
You folks don't know what sweating to the oldies is. It's on YouTube. The intro is one of the most ridiculous things ever created by humans.
Yeah. Oh boy. But so all right, so some of the legends in the lore down there, like with those like hidden like altars and stuff, that always super interesting to me. Just like, okay, you pick this area obviously because the aesthetic, and if you're going down there to do your rituals and stuff, like that's dedication. So like you're a legit cult member, you know?
Well, yeah, because one of the other things I came across was it's not that it's like they built their altars or ritual spaces down there. It's that no, there's stuff down there left over from Roman times. And it's like, ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There's power in the, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going down, I mean, who the fuck knows what's down? I mean, that's the allure, right? Because you're like, oh, if I, you know, you might find, you know, it's the ultimate dungeon crawler, right? You get down there, it's like, we don't know what's down here.
Yep. You figure it's limestone, right? You know, so that's just locking in energy left and right if you are a believer in that. So there's got to be, you know, some spell or some mantra or chant that could wheeze some of that juice out of those stones. You know? Well,
think about it. I mean, if you want to go down that route, like, you know, we've talked about like haunted prisons, haunted hospitals, haunted, you know, runs the gamut, you know, the White House. Think about this place. Most of the people going through there are under duress. You know what? If you think about it, like the Cataphiles are, you know, they're probably fine, but like anyone else going in there, like, oh, this place is going. I'm fucking die down here. Like, that's probably what's going on the whole time. So, I mean, you know, does that have like a, you know, a quality to it? You know what I mean? It's like, does that have some kind of impact on the environment?
And it's literally the water that's in there. It's not water. That's pink. That's pink slime. You know, that's literally what's going on down there.
I mean, only a Carpathian would decide to go down there. I mean,
yeah, you know, if I was, you know, him, I would, you know, San Fernando Valley. That's where I would.
Well, you know, he's, you know, huge melon on top of his thing.
Had to sneak it in there. Had to get some Ghostbusters jargon in there.
It's fine. I've been holding my ghost popper the whole time, so it's.
There you go. And I have my PKE meter right here.
Yep. Fucking nerds. Beautiful.
Yeah. Sorry, gang.
So I actually also think it's kind of interesting that aside from the first time I heard this of the Catacombs of Paris was at Ken's house years ago, we then decided to go view a little film together back in 2014.
Yeah, we did.
Known as Above, So Below.
Ow!
Which we completely just ripped to pieces while we were watching it.
Yeah. Oh, man. 2014 was a good
2014. Yeah. I mean, it's all right. I was mentioning it to Ken before. This is one of these movies where it's like, when we saw it, I was like, whatever. And then I watched it a few more times and I was like, okay, well, it's kind of like, what do you got? It's like a cross between Tomb Raider, Blair Witch a little bit.
And Event Horizon
a little bit. Yeah. And it kind of, I don't know, kind of like, it's kind of cool. And like, they go down to these, they're looking for the Philosopher's Stone, which is, you know, this stone that can grant, you know, immortality. Right. And, you know, also it has the ability to turn base metals into gold, I think. Right.
Yeah.
And they're down there and, you know, they're looking for these things. But what they don't know is that the catacombs actually are hell. And apparently I didn't either, because like the third time I watched it, I was like, oh, fuck, this is hell. Okay. Come on. These are one of these fucking movies you put on, like, as soon as the fucking credits start, you just start looking at your phone already. So it's
Well, wait, we do need to say this, though. So we're in the theater. It's me and Jay, you know, we're sitting next to each other, giggling, giddy, like little kids.
Right.
And before the movie starts, there's a trailer for fucking Dracula. No, Dracula Untold.
That's right. Oh my god.
And me and Jay are crying and wheezing. Doesn't how silly. And then he's on a battlefield and a swarm of bats come and form a giant fist and punch the arms.
Yeah, I couldn't fucking believe my eyes, and I was like, "This is how they're gonna like." And this is when they were talking their shit, like, "Oh, this is it. This is the beginning of the MonsterVerse. This is it, guys. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Universal monsters are coming back." And I'm like, "All right." And it's like, "So what's the Dracula movie?" And it's like, wait a minute.
Oh, man.
Then I don't even want to talk about that movie.
So I just want to say
fucking awful.
That got me and Jay. That put me and Jay in the mood going forward for the movie. So we couldn't take anything seriously going forward.
Once you've seen a swarm of bats turn into a fist that punches an army, you're just, well, that's it. And they fucked themselves up because they were like, they should have been like, yeah, don't put this, don't. It's like they might as well fucking have put like a trailer for like one of the Despicable Me movies beforehand because it was just as it was that bad.
Oh my god, man! But we had a good time. I can tell you that.
Oh no, we had a great time. I mean, there's nothing better than laughing through a horror movie in the theater. Yeah, which is usually what I do anyway.
Yeah. And your wives are next to you, just like what?
I thought this was going to be scary.
Why are you guys laughing?
Because this stuff is funny.
And then the one scene where like when she like recovers and she like punches the stone monster with the camera and it like falls.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to watch though.
It's a fun. I just rewatched it again in anticipation of this episode, and I really wish I had more to say about it. But it's if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's fine. It's one of those it's one of those shaky cam movies. It's not that bad. I mean, they throw everything into this movie, and this movie, I can tell the idea for this movie was somebody watched the same fucking thing we watched. They watched Scariest Places on Earth, this whole thing, guy getting lost in the catacombs and like, whatever the fuck ever. And then he got his like Indiana Jones hat on. He was like, oh wait, there could be treasure down there.
Well, yeah, and because before this I was asking you because I was confused because like I did a fair bit of research and then we, like I said, we talked about this for years and like I'm like, wait, why was there a dead Knights Templar down there?
Well, I personally, I don't fucking know because there's two people that say it's a Templar knight and he was guarding the treasure. I was like, wait a minute, that's two on the nose for fucking Indiana Jones. And then there's other people like, oh, well, that's Nicholas Flamel. I'm like, yeah, but he wasn't a Templar, so what the fuck? And they're like, well, maybe this guy was just a fan of Indiana Jones and wanted to another fucking Templar. I don't know. And no one can, like, in multiple descriptions, like, it's different in almost everyone. They're like, oh, there's a preserved Templar knight. It's like, well, okay, he's got the cross on his body, so I get it. The red cross with the white tunic. But then, other people
like where I kind of like ended up going was just like, all right, it's just like almost like a plot device or just like a device to like, all right, let's beef up this story with like a short clip where like, all right, there's a dead Knights Templar. Then people are like, what is that? And they look it up and then the writer didn't have to put that in there. Like they could take their own journey to beef up the movie's backstory,
Yeah. It's whatever. It's cool that it's placed there, and I think that even kicked it off even more because when I was researching some of the other stuff, like apparently like they were having screenings of that movie in the fucking catacombs.
And imagine how hard they were laughing. Seriously.
And then it's like, yeah, wait till the fucking ghouls come out, you jerk offs. There's this one asshole YouTuber, which I'm not even gonna fucking mention his name because I hate him. But he's down there. He's like, guys, would it be awesome to watch fucking As Above, So Below down here, right? And the guys just look at him. They're just like,
shut up, dude. Like, what are you, chills?
Yeah, seriously. He actually is. The one I'm talking about is literally the YouTube Explorer version of fucking Chills. Ugh. It's Exploring with Josh. If you watch his videos, he's a fucking asshole.
How cool would it be to watch The Descent after? Wouldn't that be cool?
I mean, wouldn't it be cool to see him ripped limb from limb while exploring this place?
Yes.
But then you have all those, and there's just as many of people getting. The dude actually, he gets robbed, and I'm laughing the whole time. Like, well, that's what happens. He went in there alone, and he's lost. I'm like, hope he fucking falls and breaks his leg too. Let's get some more content here.
He's that asshole with like the bleach blonde hair, right? With the darker tips.
Yep. And then he has he's got the 3 Vanilla Ice buzz things out of his eyebrow. Dude, he's the worst. He's gonna be the new guy we make fun of for a while, I think.
All right, cool. In.
Yeah. Because we're the cool guys. Fuck those other guys.
Flashback to a couple minutes ago. You with your Ghost Pop removed my PK.
Yeah, exactly. No room for improvement on this show, huh, guys? Yeah. We're fucking perfect.
Fuck that. We're us, they're them. Slight or be slighted, my man.
Hey, if they got a problem, I'll publish my address. I'll fight both of them by myself. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a movie. If you guys haven't watched it, give it a watch. It's got some, we're being flippant, but it's got some good stuff in it, and I actually appreciated some of it. And it's, come on, it's a fucking
horror movie.
It's about the fucking catacombs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, look, it's a found footage horror movie, which I'm a sucker for, in the Paris Catacombs, which was awesome. So it's like, there's some merit there, man. There's some winning qualities.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's endlessly fascinating to me because it's like, you have this city of, France, known as be like the city of light and the city of, city of love. And then right underneath it is the empire of death. Literally what they call it.
Hey, man.
And that's just,
you got to have it.
It's pretty
man.
incredible.
I
love it.
And if you're going to watch anything, if you have, like 20 minutes to spare, check out it's on YouTube, the Scariest Places on Earth segment.
Oh, definitely. Catacombs. Yeah, definitely watch that. Look up, Scariest Places on Earth, Paris Catacombs, and then just check out that clip because then you'll know what we're talking about. We won't sound like as much of jerk offs that we are.
We probably will, but.
Yeah, I mean, if then when you're done with that, then you can watch the girl who goes down there clad in a bikini with her surfboard and wades through a couple of the sections. Which I watched it. I was like, "What the fuck am I watching?"
Got to get them clicks, man. Got to get them hits
I
up.
mean, if it was more like bikini clad American ripped limb from limb by fucking ghouls, then I'm in.
Yeah, man. Thumbs up to that.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, but I mean, all right. So I guess do we have some closing statements on the Paris Catacombs?
Closing statements. God. I just want to go there, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like. Here's my closing statements. My ultimate nightmare is to go to sleep one night and that was fun or whatever, had a good day, and then you wake up and you're down in the catacombs somewhere. With not a flashlight, a fucking Bic lighter.
I was gonna say like a kerosene lantern. It's making that.
That's kind of cool to
noise
set the mood,
all the time.
But,
yeah. Maybe. I guess my closing statement would be. It's another pile of bones, You're down there and you die, you're just another pile of bones.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the amount of people that have probably met their ends down there or just have been, attacked by, the werewolves that Zach Bagans says is down there or
plausible.
Yeah, if you want to lose a few brain cells, go ahead and check that out on YouTube as well. It's Netherworld with Zach Bagans, and when he goes to this one area and pretends that he can speak French to the desk lady, I rewound it 10 times. I could not fucking stop laughing.
Beautiful.
It's so bad. It's.
I'm probably gonna watch that after this now, man. That's great.
I rewound it 10 fucking times because it's dude, you don't speak French. Why is this even in here? And he's like, Merci, blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh, yeah. It's like, why is this in here?
He looks at the camera yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, no, he can barely speak English, and he's on here pretending he can fucking speak French and he's just fluent. Oh, just here in France, and blah, 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 blah. And I just sorry, that's what French sounds like to me. I'm not saying anything bad. It's just I have a theory that it's actually a fictitious language, and everyone's in on it.
I have the same theory with Japanese. Everything's
well.
Come on. I'm kidding. But
it's another episode.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But all right, guys.
Oh, God, and I completely forgot to mention the swimming pools, the hidden swimming pools. God damn it! It's fine. There's hidden swimming pools down there, folks. Sorry, I'm a mess.
Yeah. Chlorine. It's got it all, man. The little kid footsteps.
No, there's no chlorine.
The clean Mary.
Nope, just human minerals.
Oh, yeah. Lots of mushrooms growing down there, man. Lots of mushrooms.
Mm-hmm. And
who would go? Who is that fucker that's going swimming in there? Ugh.
French people. Sorry, I'm not throwing shade at French people. It's
that's
who's down there. They're French.
You're not. No, you're not throwing shade at all.
I'm not.
All right, man. All right. Yeah, well,
sorry guys, it's a little. This is the first episode after having COVID, and I don't know.
Yeah, Jay's just, he's coming back. He's getting back in form.
Although, folks, holy shit, our next episode, we are filming live together. Please get excited because
it is happening.
We're going to get smashed. We're going to try to keep it together, but it'll be fun.
It's going to be multiple episodes. It's not going to be
multiple
just
episodes. Yeah. So if it's like, oh, they were drunk all 6 episodes, it's like, well, no, we just recorded them all together.
Yeah, and that our new format is coming your way ASAP. We had a couple setbacks here. We're just scheduling and stuff, but it's finally happening. We're finally doing it, and here we go, baby.
Oh yeah, we might have a guest. We might have a guest on the episode too.
Rumor has it we might have a guest.
Rumor has it.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I've received some Facebook messages.
I bet you have because this person is a psychotic maniac. He knows who he is.
Yeah, and, yes, he does. Maybe I'll see you this weekend, pal.
Well, I'll get some bear mace just to fucking keep him.
I'll have my horse tranquilizer gun ready.
We'll just get some raw meat and some fucking bear mace and like a taser or some shit, just because in case he gets out of control. Yeah, like remember in Conan O'Brien with the masturbating bear when like they fucking bring him out and then like oh wait they have to fucking the shock collar like that's. We love you,
and he's like for all our viewers.
Yeah, exactly. For all our viewers.
Yeah, but all right, yeah.
All right, we're going off the rails now.
Yeah, guys. So for Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you had a run-in with the Other Dangers? You can reach us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to have a short discussion about the Other Dangers, you can find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Other Dangerous Podcast. We are now streaming on iTunes Podcasts, Amazon, Google, and many other streaming services. We are also available on YouTube. And please, after listening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the Other Dangers.